This is just the box. Peter, not me, Peter Lick. Oh, no joke, this is super heavy. This is the box that a book lives in. Peter Lick, Equation of Time. Let me just shut it for a minute. It says, "G'day legends, really stoked you own a copy of Equation of Time. What a gig this was, a true adventure through time, searching over 1 million images." That's a lot of images. "To reveal my never-ending love of photography." And it goes through kind of what this book means. Who is this guy? Why are we talking about him? Why are you watching this? Story time. The date today is, I don't even have a date window on this watch. It's the 24th of November. 4 days ago was my 10-year anniversary with my wife. Aww. That's important because 10 years ago, on our honeymoon, we went to Hawaii. We stumbled into a Peter Lick gallery. Peter Lick has galleries in different spots over the US. Now, the first galleries that I ever went into, there's one specifically at the Forum Shops at Caesar's Palace, and that is the first place I ever stepped into where I was just absolutely blown away by photography.
Pete and I were just talking. I didn't realize that he had actually been into one of Peter Lick's galleries as well. He was in the one in Vegas.
I walked into this gallery with my dad, and I remember just standing there looking at his photos. They were printed massively on these incredible frames, these incredible wooden frames. The lighting in this gallery was just right. Just as you dimmed the lights, the photos would seemingly come alive. They looked like they were glowing. I'd never seen anything like it.
Like, these prints are big, and I'm talking like 5, 6, 7 feet. Like, some of them were like the entire length of a wall.
It made me fall in love with the craft even more, and it made me respect and appreciate printing your photos even more. And what it really did is solidified how much I loved and wanted to be a landscape photographer.
So I could probably dig up a folder on my computer. There was a period of time, maybe even like 2 or 3 years, where everything was trying to be Peter Lick. That's what we were both doing, but he really took it to that nth degree.
This was before Instagram was a thing. This was before people were posting shots daily on social media. This was a long time ago. So arguably, Peter Lick was the biggest inspiration of my life when it came to photography.
From that point on, I mean, we were obsessed. We were trying to emulate a style like his. I mean, we obviously weren't in the same locations, and we could never even come close to replicating it. He was shooting all of this stuff on a film camera. He was shooting on slide film. He was the first photographer that really made me realize that if you want a certain photo, you have to go and get it.
Let's fast forward to the honeymoon. We're walking through Hawaii and we stumble across another Peter Lick gallery. I really wanted a picture of Crater Lake because it was this mountain scene with the lake not frozen yet. Okay, you can see where my inspiration for the bucket shot came from. I really wanted this print. We went as far as figuring out what it would cost, how much it would cost. We'd just gotten married, so we got some envelopes with some cash in them, some gifts from people that attended. So I called my mom back home. You know all those envelopes we got from the wedding for buying furniture and stuff that we need for our new house? Can you open them all and tally the amount of money that we got? It's life or death, like as fast as you can, people are waiting. She calls back with the number and she's like, "This is what you have." Awesome. Turned to my wife and said, "We have enough, but it would be everything." And we actually stood there and thought about it and contemplated it for a good 30 minutes to an hour. I'd wanted one of these prints forever. I've been following this guy now at this point, from the moment I went to that gallery with my dad to the moment now standing in this gallery with my wife.
He went through a period of time where he was Peter Lick. He took that vibrance slider, he took the saturation slider, he cranked them up. He was cropping them to like these tiny little slivers of photos. He was trying to make me think that his like Rebel or his HP camera, whatever he was using, was some sort of wide format film camera.
A lot of time had passed and she knew how much it meant to me. She was willing to forego furniture, kitchenware, everything you need moving into a place so that I could have a singular Peter Lick print hanging in an empty home. I didn't pull the trigger. I didn't want my first act as a new husband to be so irresponsible. But I think about that moment every day. Peter Lick hasn't really come up into conversation with me and my friends recently until I did an episode of Photo Stories with Lizzie Pierce. I had been in a photo gallery from a photographer by the name of Peter Lick. If I could ever just remotely take something as cool and blow it up and have it look like this and have people standing in front of my own photographs thinking what I'm thinking right now, that would be the dream. We were talking about a photo that Peter sold. $6.5 million it sold for. And it was one of the first photos I saw in his gallery when I was there with my dad. Should have bought it because it'd be worth a lot now. Hindsight's 2020. We were talking about this photo, and a few days later, Peter Lick sends me a direct message, slid into my DMs. Now this was a cool moment. This was full circle. This was young Peter who had no idea what he's doing with a camera, all the way to now where that biggest inspiration of my career is messaging me saying he watched the video, thanking me for talking about his work and being a fan of his work and letting me know that he's a fan of my work. So he says, I want to send you a little gift. A little gift. Gave him my address, and a couple days later, something showed up, and it was a 110-pound book.
Oh, that's when you know. When a book comes with white gloves.
So I guess, like, what's the moral of the story? You never know who's watching, you never know who's looking at your work, and you never know where it's going to take you. This was someone who was selling these incredible photos that had galleries and casinos in Las Vegas. What are the odds that I'll ever have any type of contact with this individual?
Oh, he signed it. Pete, good on you, mate.
And in my mind, the odds were zero. To the point now where we're actually talking as friends, and he's telling me he admires my work and my videos, and he's sending me gifts that now I can display on my coffee table and have a great talking point when people come to visit.
I mean, that book is nuts. You could cut out each one of these photos here and you could hang it on the wall. That's how big it is. Like, it is huge.
I can share this story of inspiration on someone that I looked up to. It's kind of like the gift of photography, but I guess if I had to skew it, it's the power of photography. There's just so many facets of this industry and this craft that make a difference, that make an impact, that come full circle, that inspire. There's so much packed into this, and this book means so much for all of those reasons. And I just had to share that story with you to hopefully trickle down some of that inspiration to you. So if you're sitting there and the weather's getting cold, or you're trapped inside because of lockdown, or there's not much to shoot and you don't really know why you're doing what you're doing, or you're feeling stuck, or you're uninspired, photography is a lifetime endeavor. From the moment I stepped into that gallery with my dad to the moment I opened his book in my own office, that was about 16 years. So it's not something that happened fast, and this craft, like I said, it's a lifetime endeavor. The arc of your career and the ups and downs that you'll experience while you're doing this, it's just cool to see where it can take you and where it can end up. It takes time. It's a process. I mean, maybe that's why he called his book The Equation of Time. Go take some photos.